Hello, I'm Jacqui Durbin, Global Head of Product for Sourcing at Iress, and I'm here at Iress HQ in Cheltenham to talk about Industry Voice. I'm here with Robert Bowes, Senior Product Manager at Iress, and Rachel Pease from MASH Marketing. This edition of Industry Voice is all about the retirement landscape, and I'm looking forward to the conversation with two industry experts. So Rob, as Senior Product Manager for Retirement at Iress, can you tell us about the theme of Industry Voice? It's called Leaving No Stone Unturned, which is also the title of your article. So what do we mean by that?
So what that theme is about is the need for advisors to be completely comprehensive and thorough when it comes to retirement advice, and the fact that that's becoming increasingly the case over recent years. So we've been looking at all the reasons why that's the case and all the things that advisors need to consider. So they need to look at exactly what a client has when it comes to retirement, which is often a lot more than just a pension fund. Notably, for example, property assets can be considered for retirement, as well as the needs becoming more complicated as well, going way beyond just an income in retirement, but also potentially need to support others and prepare for different events and things like that. So there's much more now to it than what people might traditionally consider it to be, which is, does the client need a drawdown plan or an annuity from their pension? There's just a whole vast landscape for the advisor to navigate.
Pretty complex to navigate. And Rachel, you kindly wrote an article about holistic financial planning in the edition. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges, and I guess following on from some of the challenges that Rob's just mentioned?
So one of the biggest challenges for advisors is being able to alleviate those fears and to give clients a peace of mind that they're looking for. And as well, the other thing is, as Rob was saying, retirement is so complicated now. There's so much involved, lots of things to consider. So rising costs, unexpected bills, poorer health conditions as people get older, and care funding as well when people get to that stage. And big life events as well that aren't expected. So there was a really interesting article in the edition about divorce in later life and the impact that can have on finances. So there's so much there that it's impossible for one advisor to handle all of that alone and to do a good job. So it's really important for them to have a really good network of professional connections who are experts in their individual fields. So tax advisors, estate planners, health consultants, to be able to give clients that full breadth of support that they need and that holistic level advice that they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you touched on two of the main themes I think we're seeing in this publication, one of them being around consumers and the other being around the challenges for advisors. But just touching back on some of the things you talked around, challenges for consumers, obviously there's fears around the economic landscape, longer mortgages being needed, and also some of the health concerns. Are there any other sort of challenges that you see consumers might be facing?
Well, I mean, there are so many challenges, aren't there? We could be here all day talking about them, but you mentioned healthcare there, and I think that's a really big one to pick up on. It's one of the places where there is a really big gap in what's available. It's something that's going to affect us all as we get older, but historically there just hasn't been the support there that's required. And at the moment, there are 1.4 million people across the UK who do not have access to that care and support that they need. And it's not just the people who are in need of care themselves either. It's people who are becoming carers unexpectedly. They hadn't planned for it. They're not quite sure where to turn, where to get support. And it's affecting them financially as well as the emotional toll it takes as well. And I think it's very relevant that care is one of the big discussion points in the ongoing election campaign. It's an issue that needs looking at, and quite urgently as well.
Absolutely. Clearly a lot for consumers to consider and navigate, and the role of the advisor couldn't be more important than it is today. So, Rob, we've talked around some of the complexities. So what are the specific challenges that advisors are facing helping consumers navigate those complexities?
Yeah, so we've sort of laid out really how much the advisor needs to do and how much they need to cover. But we also need to remember that they need to run a business, and they need to be able to charge the customer amount that the customer can afford. There's some major challenges there around affordability, and a lot of people not taking advice at all, often because of affordability. But sometimes there are various other reasons and challenges there as well. which the advisor community can address to get more people to take advice. But that is the real issue, that, you know, if you are, as we say, leaving no stone unturned, looking everywhere, looking at every single aspect of what happens, that needs to be funded ultimately from what the client has. So it's how can an advisor work efficiently and do that, as well as having the sort of specialist knowledge to cover all of those areas, but also be broad across all the aspects we talked about. So we have said that, you know, they're going to need support and ways of allocating things out to others to help them. But they need a kind of efficient way of doing that, and make sure that they've got trusted partners to work with. So there's that, and there's this. So it's kind of running their business as well as the duty of care to their customers. There's all the legislation, the consumer duty that they need to be mindful of. At the same time, as I say, you know, there's only so much time they can spend on an individual case. So yeah, that's it.
A lot for the advisors to juggle. So how can technology, or how is technology helping advisors with that?
So technology can definitely help with that need to do things in an efficient way. So ensure that they are managing clients well and can organise their clients through the necessary processes. Technology can be used to create workflows that make sure that all of these angles are covered, and also that they have a clear record of all the things they've done and can evidence that, and can also help use technology to educate the client and make sure the client understands what they're doing, you know, with outputs from technology. So it's enabling them to address those challenges in much less time than, you know, if they didn't have the right technology to help. And then when they've kind of navigated the landscape and get closer to actually deciding what they want to do, technology can really help with choosing and selecting the best products, you know, the best rates and so on. From sourcing systems, you know, leading the customer to that final outcome of what they're actually going to do.
Great. And in addition to sort of technology and technology innovation, are there any other innovation you'd like to see, or emerging innovation that you're seeing, Rachel?
Yeah, well, I think from the conversation, there's obviously changes needed. And one of the biggest changes, as we've touched on already, is that collaboration piece. So professionals working together to make sure that advice isn't disjointed, to make sure that those better conversations are being had for better client outcomes. But another change I think that's needed is more recognition, really, of the fact that retirement is a really big thing for people. It can actually be extremely emotional for people. It's a big transition in their lives, whatever their plans for retirement are. And these clients can actually be quite vulnerable. So it's about not just identifying that vulnerability, but making changes to process and approach to offer the extra care and support that those clients need, on top of supporting them with those financial challenges that we've talked about.
Absolutely. It's been great to chat to you both today on this interesting topic. Thank you for your contribution, and also for your articles in Industry Voice. I would also like to thank our contributors to the publication, and a special shout out to our sponsors, Aviva, Legal & General, Canada Life, Standard Life and Pure Retirement. If you found today's chat interesting, you can find out much more in Industry Voice. So go to the iress.com website, and under Insights, you will find this publication and previous publications there. You can also follow myself, Rob or Rachel on LinkedIn and find out much more about the retirement landscape.